Hello again, and welcome to High Ground Financial Freedom, the Freedom Podcast, where we take interesting individuals who are doing great things in life, and they just want to share that knowledge and just share life with other people and see us all grow together. And today, I'm bringing Malik Austin. And Malik is a 26-year-old young man, and he is a part of our book club. You know, we read different books and we discuss them together. And I'm bringing him on because he is a young man and he is doing different things in his life, and I want him to share about what he's doing, his goals, his vision, where he sees himself in a couple of years, and some of his struggles. And with that, Malik, for the listeners and the viewers who do not know you yet, share away, brother.
Well, like I said, my name is Malik. I'm 26 years old. Like I said, I'm currently working out of Richmond, Virginia right now. I'm a military kid. What else about me? I just got married back in March 8th of this year. What else? What else people might know? I'm actually working as a uh, insurance agent with Farmers Insurance. I have my life and health, and I also have my property and casualty license. And also on top of that, I'm also a full-time student at Virginia State University. Go Trojans! So
All right.
yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
And then, are you married, single?
I'm married. I got married March 8th of this year.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the married life, the good life, right? The combat
Yes,
zone.
sir.
Not in a
Yes, sir.
bad way. Definitely not in a bad way. When I say combat zone, it's a,
Oh
it's,
no,
it's a good
absolutely.
thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's the goal. It's the pinnacle of getting to be able to share your life with somebody else. So Malik,
Absolutely.
so I brought you on because during the club, during the meetings we have every Sunday, we sit down and we talk, we chat things up, and you're always showing that there are struggles in your life. There's always these struggles, but then you're always talking about how you overcome your struggles. And I always say,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? It'll be great to share some things that you go through, things you have faced, and how you continue to persevere through all of that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just talk about your life. Share
Mm-hmm.
some struggles, some things that happen in your life or major
Well,
struggles that you're overcoming.
so let me turn this off. I'm sorry, the phone keeps ringing. So I'll say probably my first struggle. Uh, so okay, this keeps ringing. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. My first struggle, I'll say, and I'll start with grade school. I was going through grade school. Was it K through 12? Uh, I had dyslexia growing up,
Hmm.
so sometimes it's like a lot of times, like I read something and like I know what it's saying. I can look in my head and say and see what it says, but like as soon as I say it out my mouth, sometimes I start to get tripped up.
Okay.
So like growing up with dyslexia, I had a couple other being a military kid as well. I had to jump from school to school growing up, so I went to like what 5 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 3 high schools in my whole my
Hmm.
whole life. So just learning how to you know be in a constant state of transition in my life. You know what I mean? Uh, what else? Parents had got divorced when I was 12. Uh, and I mean, I had to, of course, I had to fight a court case when I was coming into my junior year. Kind of got a situation with a young lady. Uh, me and her were intimate, but I didn't know her age, and that whole rigmarole happened. So those are just some of the trials I had to overcome in my life, especially, but really having that vigor, just kind of like the phoenix, just rising from the ashes, to where I just had to work harder and do better with myself. Just making better decisions. On top of that, just finding ways to make this whole thing called life winnable for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been through many trials and tribulations in my life. However, I'm blessed to not only still be here, but still also, chase my dream of being in the financial services arena. That means everything to me.
Okay. So then, and this is, I'm gonna be real with you. So when we're talking about trials and tribulations, what makes you not quit? Why don't I mean it's a lot, and you don't need to
Mhm.
go deep into everything you've gone into, but there's a lot, and there's other things you've shared with me personally. What makes you not quit?
I mean, straightforward with you, I have to say, my relationship with God and knowing that there's a purpose for me in my life, uh, knowing that, like I do have purpose, So that's one of my biggest reasons of why I don't quit because I always have to think about and what I go through in life is not made for me. It's to help somebody else out.
Mm.
So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't quit. I do have a dream. I do have a vision for my life. So that's another reason why I don't quit. And just having that strong, I have to say, man, my mom really instilling a strong relationship with God is the main reason why I don't quit. Plus, I got people surrounding me that's counting on me now. So that makes it another layer of why I can't quit. You know what I mean? So then
Okay,
you
so
then you
go
then
ahead.
you have to look back and say, if God brought me through this, He's gonna bring me through that. The other thing, He's gonna bring me through a lot of stuff. So all I gotta do is just lean on God, man, and I can go through. I can go through anything just leaning on God.
No, I like that. Then okay, so then that's your spiritual side. What about your
Mm-hmm.
physical and then your mental? Why not play victim mode like so many young people are doing today? And here's the thing. We don't know anybody else's struggles. I'm not going to sit here and
Mm-hmm.
say that people are not victims and they have things that's going on in their lives, but there is seems to be a more of a stigma now. Looks like a reality of people just playing I'm hurt or take care of me or
Mm-hmm.
woe is me. Why not go with the victim? Because it works.
Yeah, it works, but I mean, with some people, but that's just not my style. Like I wanna be successful in life, and the only way I can be successful is disciplining myself. And and they said I saw this post on Facebook the other day. It said, you know, 80% of the world's of a person's not I want to say the world's 80% of a person's uh, problems can be fixed with discipline. And I was like, wow, that made a lot of sense to me. So it's like the more I discipline myself, and I know disciplining doesn't feel good, but the more I discipline myself, uh, the better my outcome will be just in life in general and pretty much all things. So.
And that's beautiful. And then let's say
Mhm.
sizing yourself up. People say, well, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people or shouldn't compare things. But that's the
Mhm.
reality we live in. You look at where you are, if you're physically fit, and we say, okay, if a person can do X amount of their body weight for a bench press, or do X amount of
Mhm.
weight for a deadlift, or do X amount for a squat, it's a scale and it's based on
Mhm.
other people. So let's just look at a scale of, let's say you go into college. How do you stack up with some of your peers, some of your older peers, younger peers? How do you stack up?
I mean, being straightforward with you, I know a lot of times y'all tell me I'm light years ahead, but I honestly I feel like a lot of times, man, it's just like, man, it's like I should have been doing this years ago. You know what I mean? But at the same token, everybody has their own journey in life, and this is just the chapter of this is the chapter of life I'm in right now, to where you know when I was younger, and I know like teenage and early 20s, I wasn't as disciplined as I am now. But at the same token, I still stacking myself up against other people. I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at because I'm really just competing against myself.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times I kind of look at it like, if I was more disciplined, when I was younger, I could have been a lot further than what I really am. But you don't know what you don't know. So everything happens for a reason. Everything works out in the good. So I can't really sit around and compare myself with anyone else. All I can do is compare myself with me and the person I want to become.
Right, and that's good. And when I say compare, it's just looking at
Hmm.
a scale. It's like going to
Hmm.
college, getting your bachelor's or your master's, or your doctorate degree. All of that
Hmm.
stuff is based on what someone else has done, and then how we can say, okay, this is what we consider to be successful. It's just a scale. When I say
Hmm.
compare, but you're right. You're competing against yourself, and that's really the only person that you're competing against. And then where you are in life is right where you should be. Think
Yeah.
of the things that may have been presented to you when you were 20 or 19 or
Hmm.
18. You might have not have taken an interest in it, or the
Yeah. I
information
mean,
could have come and it could have just went right by you.
I was like 20. I was looking at doing the same thing that I am doing now. I just honestly at that time did I have the support? I didn't have the support system around me that I have today. But on top of that, I didn't have that ambition, nor did I have just a mindset to just go get it. I had a lot of fear. Like I don't know, I was scared of my own potential at that time. You dealing with certain type of confidence issues and stuff like that. Like that's some of the stuff that I was dealing with like in my 20s. But now that um, I'm older and I realize, okay, well, look, you are smart. You can do this. You can do that. You just got to go. And I just started, and the reason why I changed my approach was because one day when I think I know but the viewers probably don't know, but I was doing HVAC. I did HVAC for 5 years uh, before I started doing insurance. And a gentleman, one of my coworkers, he actually passed away. He fell off a ladder and passed away right in front of me. And ever since then, I started searching. I was like, you know, what does my life mean? What meaning what stuff do I need to bring to life? Where do I fit in this world? Those are the thoughts that I was going through my head. And it really just gave me a wake up call to where it's like, not saying HVAC is not a bad job because I made a good money doing HVAC, but I was like, I want more out of life. So I just really just started, just going after life, directing the change. I know change is going to happen, but directing that change, really seeking knowledge. And lo and behold, after that circumstance happened where that gentleman passed away in front of me, that's where I met Mr. Ron. Then I started meeting, other individuals to really just, how do I say, just pour into me like yourself. Uh, and I just, like I said, I just started chasing after life, trying to find where do I fit at, who am I, where do I fit in this world. That was one of the biggest reasons.
Oh man, I like that. So why
Mhm.
finance? Why finance, and then why insurance?
Okay, so finance. Why finance? Was because like I said a prayer. I was praying to God one day, and I was like, God, why? Like I said, why like the church? I was looking at the church and said, why the church is always why we always asking for donations or handouts? I was like, I just don't like that. I don't want to ask nobody for nothing. Like I just want to give. Like the Bible always says it's best to be, you know, the lender and not the borrower. And I was like, God, why is church always asking for handouts, this, that, and the third? So like, I was like, okay. So I started doing research, and I was like, God, what career produces the most millionaires? And it said finance. So I was like, okay, because I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't I don't really like school like that. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be. I could be an engineer, but I don't really like dealing with mechanics like that much. But it's like I really like sitting down, talking to people, and protecting people. And this is why insurance, but on top of why finance. That gentleman that I said that passed away in front of me, Unfortunately, he didn't have insurance, and he left his mother behind. He used to take care of his disabled mother. Now, she's kind of in a worse situation now than what she was when Corey was around taking care of her. So that's one of the big reasons why I also like why insurance, because it's a thing called indemnity, and it was like it's going to make you, after a loss, indemnification is going to make you whole again. So that's one of the reasons why I chose insurance, and I think insurance is a great start for me getting into the financial services arena. You know, it gives me a lot of basics of what I'm going to learn. So that's why I said why. That's why I chose insurance to begin with, just to protect. Insurance helps you protect your most important assets. If it's not your home, your auto, yourself, more importantly, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just you know, just other stuff that people have of possessions. It helps protect all that stuff, because I always say, you know a makes up for defense wins championships, pretty much, for the most part. If all the sports fans, defense wins championship, and insurance helps you protect your assets. So that's the best defense for an individual living out in this world.
No, I agree 100%. It's even if you're in the military or if you get in your car, what's the first thing you do when you get in your car? You put a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And I think people start too fast when we're talking about finances. We start with going straight to, let's create an LLC, or let's start investing in the market. And the first thing you want to do is protect your current assets. Protection.
Absolutely.
Start with protecting your body first, what you bring to the table, or if you end up having to leave this world. And then, of course, you're going to structure in a way that you're going to make a lot of cash value. But again, protect yourself first. Then once you got your protection down, whether that's, putting protection on your vehicle, putting protection on your home, putting protection on your body, your kids, putting all that stuff in place, okay? And then you start talking about savings. After your current assets are protected, then you got your savings.
Absolutely.
And then once you got the savings straight, then you can start talking about growth. That's when we start talking about LLCs, but unfortunately, we have it backwards. We want to jump straight into the LLC, and we haven't even protected our current assets. Because if you get into the LLC and something happens, them current assets can get erased.
Absolutely.
So no, I think you're doing the right thing. And when you look at insurance agents, why do you think they're demonized? Or when someone hears insurance, they want to run for the hills?
Well, a lot of times it's because of people are not knowing what they're buying. Insurance agents are not explaining the coverages to the people properly. And the one thing, I'm very fortunate enough that the agency I work for, man, these people are sharp as a tack, and I'm extremely grateful that they allowed me to come on aboard with them and learn up under them, just to see how to properly structure a home policy, see how to properly structure your auto policy, learning the different coverages about, like, most people probably don't even know about an umbrella policy, which is what an umbrella policy does is it just strengthens and it covers it just gives you extra coverage on like your home or your liability. It's just that simple, like, man. And those are just little things that you can do to just give yourself a little extra layer of protection. Because, like, you notice when people start building up their finances and they're making a lot more money, there's a insurance, especially with like homeowners insurance and like liability. All they do is they're going to prevent people from, people are going to sue you. People will sue you, but you don't have to pay out of pocket. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things that insurance help protect people against. And, you just got to inform people. But that's one of the reasons why I really like, I'm really glad that I got my property and casualty insurance license, because I was like, wow, that just opened me up to a whole new world of insurance. So, man, I love it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And so, what do you see yourself in, let's say, 5 years?
5 years? 5 5 years, I see myself being a year in my own business, having my own insurance agency. Uh, right now, I'm working with Farmers Insurance, and my boss, he actually owns three different Farmers Insurance branches. So he said he's going to help me after I feel like myself, after I train myself up and I feel ready. He said he'll help me start my own insurance agency. So I was like, that's pretty awesome. So that's where I see myself in 5 years, probably a year within my business, working and help protecting clients.
No, that's good. And then I'm gonna jump back. Why do you
Hmm.
think insurance agents are demonized? Why do you think people, when they hear the word insurance agent, why do you think they turn their nose up, or insurance agents are looked at as like the worst career
Hmm.
or the worst humans on the planet?
And I guess this has to be because of the past. Like, I don't know. I'm really not sure why is it like that, but I know a lot of times people like, oh well, when I had a loss on my home, my insurance canceled on me, and all these. They hear all these horror stories, which a lot of times is if you had the right agent and they informed you on the right thing, you know, instead of just jumping to any old policy based on price. If you actually look at the policy based on value, you will cover yourself, you will cover and protect yourself a lot more. So it's really just sitting down with a reputable, insurance provider and going through those policies and actually reading it, seeing what it covers versus what it doesn't cover. That's why I feel like a lot of times people feel like insurance agents are demonized because they get into the wrong policy thinking that it covers something that it doesn't. And when stuff hits the fan, they're left, they're left hanging
Hmm.
because the insurance company in their contract stated that they don't cover this particular peril. So I think that's one of the main reasons why.
So you're saying some personal responsibility on people's part, that they need to do some research and read and make sure they
I mean,
understand.
I
Okay.
think I think it's personal responsibility, but on top of that, it's really finding the right agent that's really going to go out their way to really teach you
Right.
and not try to sell you. It's always about value based, quote unquote, selling. But it's really just if I tell you, you know, if I can help you prevent a problem, that's not really selling you on nothing. That's just me helping you out, and you see and I earned and I gave you value on top of that. So of course you want to stick with me. You know what I mean?
So you're saying
But
educating people.
it's really more so education is the biggest
I
issue.
love that.
Education. I want to say, you know, yes, knowing what you're buying, but education is the biggest issue. So,
Okay. All right, we're about to wrap it up because that phone keep ringing, and
oh
everybody,
yeah,
this is
nah, that's
straight
fine.
live, and I keep it real. I don't cut nothing out when we do
Hmm.
these calls and when we do these podcasts. No, and
I
I
mean,
appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you sharing. So let's talk about marriage. How's the marriage going?
marriage is wonderful, man. Like I said, I've been with my wife. We were high school sweethearts. I've been with my wife since my junior year of high school, the end of my junior year of high school. So we've been together for like 8 years now. Uh, I just think this is just another marriage is just another step, in the maturation of our relationship, me and her. Really, we just also recently just got a little puppy, so
Oh,
hopefully
congratulations.
got a cool little golden doodle.
Okay.
So so that's just another layer of just you know multiplying. I love just and I know in a few years, I don't think just in a year or two, but probably the next 4 or 5 years, we probably start having kids and everything like that. So it's just beautiful, man. Just growing with a person that she known me since I was what 17 years old, and she stuck by my side through a lot of rough times in my life, a lot of times where I didn't even know myself. You know what I mean? So like she's really like my better half, and she tells me about myself a lot. So it's
They
like, oh,
are.
I need
They really are. They
to.
are the better half. I will say that. I will echo that. They are
Yes,
definitely
sir.
the better half. They're the second generation. the
Hmm.
version 2 of humans, the
Yes, sir.
2.0 version. Yeah. So no,
Yes, sir.
listen. I appreciate you, Malik. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep
Yes, sir.
moving forward. Appreciate you coming on here and sharing some knowledge. And if you ever feel like you're becoming a victim, you look in the mirror and you tell that part of yourself to stand down
Yeah.
and just keep, because we live in a place that, yes, there is opposition. There's
Hmm.
opposition is real. Make no mistake about it. But it's what you do with that opposition that matters. How do you overcome those obstacles, those challenges that
Hmm.
come at you every day? How do you overcome them? And we are standing on greatness. We're standing on people who have come before us, and we have zero place to sit back and complain when we have all of these opportunities. So there are opposition, but there's also opportunities to balance that out.
I want to share one thing before we get off. When you talk about we're standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a personal story that I take with me every day of my life. Like I told you, I'm a military kid, but my grandfather but I grew up in Alabama for the most part, the bulk of my childhood. And I told you this story. I don't think I told you this before, or I might have. But when I say I stand on the shoulders of giants, I look at my grandfather. Right, uh, he grew up in the '50s. Didn't have uh, probably he didn't have only but a second grade education, and he was worked as a heavy machinery operator. But the biggest thing is what I want to talk about him is. So my granddad grew up in the '50s, and do you know the last known? You see, the last known documented court case of slavery was in.
Mm,
It was in the 1950s in Sumter County, Alabama.
okay.
Reason why I say why I bring this up was because 1950s. My granddad grew up and still lives there in Sumter County, Alabama,
Wow.
and knowing the trials and tribulations that he went through to where he raised my father. My father went on to the military. Now I'm blessed with different opportunities that my granddad could have only dreamed of. You know, that's another reason why I can't give up. I can't quit because individuals sacrifice so much for me to even walk into this office or for me to even say, hey, I want to be an insurance agent. Like another thing, Richmond, Virginia. That's where I'm at right now. Richmond, Virginia, and I forget the gentleman's name, but Richmond, Virginia, that's where the first black, not only bank, but insurance company started
Mm,
at. So then I also walked down the street. Then I was like, then I be in a place called Jackson Ward, where it's in Richmond, where it's a very predominantly black uh, area. But back then, that was called what did they call it? The Harlem of the South, because of Penny Bank and Maggie Walker. She was the first black African American woman uh, bank president. Toured her house right here in not Petersburg. I'm sorry, right here in Richmond. I toured her house. Then another reason why I can't give up. The reason why I even go to my school called Virginia State is because I found out about Reginald Lewis. And he's like, "Who is Reginald Lewis?" If you, if anybody do their research, they would tell you that Reginald Lewis was the first African American billionaire.
mm,
Reginald Lewis took his undergrad at Virginia State University. On top of that, he was the first black man. Well, not first black man. He was the first person. Let me clear that up. First person to get into Harvard without formally applying. So you got all these great individuals that are just in my conscious I see. I see. How do I say? Uh, how do I say? I see the remains of what they've done. You know, and it inspires me. Like that's what really inspires me. That's why it's like, I look at like Reginald Lewis, or let's take it to Maggie Walker. She did all that. She was born a slave, and she did all that greatness and caused the Jackson Ward area to be one of the most wealthiest uh, African American communities at that time. Now, of course, since then, redlining and all that stuff, them putting I-95 through it kind of messed up the ecosystem back then. But like, she did all those great things, and people are still talking about the legacy that she left behind. And she did all that during, like I said, she was born a slave, and she did all that great work. So it's like, man, if, like I said, not only my grandfather, like I said, had to endure a very prejudiced area growing up, but then you got these other individuals that while I'm walking down my path of life, it's like, wow, they did some mighty great things. It's like, Malik, and I talked to myself, and like, Malik, can you do that? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go after it.
Of course you can. If it's in black and white in the book,
Yeah.
and that's the thing about it. Like I said, you're gonna have opposition, but what do? You step on top of it, and you keep.
I just
moving.
don't know. Like I said, do I know what the end's gonna be? No, but I got an idea of what my vision is, and I just gonna keep chugging until
what your
until
vision is. So you do have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Amen. It's nothing like a man with a vision and a purpose. You give a man a vision and a purpose. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's like, even though I might have stumbling blocks, I can't give up, man. It's just so many other individuals whose shoulders are that I'm standing on, to where, okay, Malik, I got to do my part for the next individual. I don't care if it's just my family. I don't care if it's. I'm not just even talking about my family. I'm thinking of the little guy, and I'm thinking of a little guy in Section 8 housing that's they want to be somebody in life one day, but they don't know how they're gonna get there. I want to run across him and show them the pathway and blaze that trail for them. So that's, like I said, I always want to give back, and especially with the youth, I really want to give back to the youth and help them and lift them up as somebody lifted me up, like yourself and Mr. Ron, who was on the podcast earlier.
No, that's good, man. And I'm glad you have that mindset that you understand where you came from, and you're taking advantage of every opportunity that's put in front of you, and then you want to give back. And that's what I say when you're thinking about being a 26-year-old young man, where you're at mentally. And that's a beautiful place to be. And hopefully you continue to just do exactly what you're doing. And the future is going to be bright, because you're writing your future right now. So with that being said, I appreciate you coming on, appreciate your time, because I know you at work and you chose to give me some of this time so we can share. So with that, listen, freedom fighters, get out there. Let's learn together. Let's grow. Let's get that financial freedom. It's not about money. It's about being financially free. And financial freedom gives you opportunities to do different things that you want to do. So God bless, and I hope you have a great day.